Welcome to a special OKU interview with the 2024 Inner Peace Corps members. The Inner Peace Corps is a program for high school students that explores the connection between creativity and inner wellness. We spoke with members to hear their reflections on their experiences over the past year.
My name is Luke, and I'm in junior year, so 11th.
My name is Eleanor, and I'm a rising senior.
I'm Anya, also a rising senior.
I'm Ray, and I'm going into my sophomore year.
You all are members of the Inner Peace Corps, is that correct?
Yep.
Who wants to tell me about it?
The Inner Peace Corps is kind of like an amazing group to be a part of because you just get to meet up with a group of kids who are also just like awesome and fun. And like I haven't met a single person here who I didn't like, so that was amazing. But you also, it's just kind of like a fun like monthly meeting where we go to like a location like OMSI or sometimes we just go to the park and we can like do these projects or have discussions about just kind of like helping teens with anxiety, and that's really cool.
Nice. And how long have you all been involved?
Like a year.
Yeah.
A year.
We all kind of started at the same time.
Yeah.
And did you all know each other?
We did, but
I've known her since 4th grade, but that's a different story.
yeah.
You've been together since 4th grade? Tell us this story.
Okay. We went to like the same after school. She dragged me into this whole program because I think it started with like an art competition of some sort. You should say more about that.
So the OK challenge was, did you do it as well?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so we both did the OK challenge, and at the celebration there, they were like, oh, we're starting an Inner Peace Corps, and I really enjoyed making my project for the OK challenge, so I was like, yeah, of course, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think there's sometimes a lot of stigma around like mental health, and art is just such a great way to be able to express the feelings that we're feeling. Sometimes it's hard to explain or be tangible, so art is just such a cool way to like meet people that are like interested in the same things as you, but also be able to like express that, like those feelings that are sometimes hard to explain to other people.
Alternatively to them all like doing the OK challenge, I ended up going to the final presentation for the OK challenge. So, because my like mom works for Create More Fearless, so she was just like, oh, we're going to this thing tonight. And I was like, okay. And by the end, I was like, I want to do this. I want to be a part of this. Like, these people are cool.
What about you, Luke? How did you get started?
I was in the OK challenge as well, and I didn't like attend the in-person meeting, but I was on Zoom, and I think Kathleen also sent me an email about Inner Peace Corps, and I was like, okay, this sounds super epic. I would love to do this, so it all fell into place, I guess.
The impression that I got from, various meetings and projects was that OKU and the Inner Peace Corps kind of aim to, with a focus on people of our age demographic, right, connect art and mental health and use them to battle that stigma that Anya mentioned, right, that is present in a lot of our communities. And I think that IPC does a really good job of that in particular because we get to know each other first. We do we've gone to Laurelhurst Park like 100 times. We do like little art meets, and it all kind of accumulated in a project where we used that intersection of art and mental health to try to communicate and spread the message. I wasn't fully there for all of it, and I think nobody was fully there for all of it because we had some scheduling issues. But I'm excited to see where IPC goes with it in the future because I think it's a really good mission.
I think it was like incredible to, cause like, it totally like blending art and mental health was like, it's just a like huge part of it, but also just having like a good group of people, like having people that you can just like talk to. And we always start kind of like meetings with like just talking about like what we've been going through recently, or is there anything you'd like to share? And it's just like, even though we don't meet as often as like friends would, I guess, it's just really amazing to be a part of a community where like everyone really just feels connected to each other. By the end of last year, I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to see all of you guys again and forever. Like, you're the best.
Yeah, there's just so much authenticity in our meetings. And one question that I remember Nico asked us was like, what animal do you feel like? And I was like, we both said ostrich. And I was like, oh my gosh, we have the same, we feel like the same animal. It's just so cool to be able to connect with each other in that way with some things that are so feelings that are up there, but to be able to like talk about that in a group setting and feel so comfortable.
I put the page of notes I made from that meeting on my wall, and I just have ostrich and like big letters on it, like yes.
That's like a lifelong connection. Like they'll be sending each other like ostrich news for the rest of their lives. Are you kidding?
I've yet to receive ostrich news from you.
I got you.
And that's kind of like perfect to like exemplify what IPC is. Like it's a group of people that can like connect together, and by doing that also like create a difference in the real world with teens and students with mental health, you know?
So one other thing that we do is we did one event where we went to a school and we were able to work with some of the kids there about like doing different activities from the OKU website and just leading them through that and talking about all of this stuff with them and making them feel comfortable to talk about these things. And I think that's something that I really enjoyed and I'm really excited to do this next year around.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you all do this yourselves, right? You don't necessarily have any adults doing this for you.
We have two facilitators. But they're also students in college, and they're super like hands-free. They will give us resources and help if we ask for it, but they're very good at just letting us do what we're interested in and just guiding us rather than directing us.
Yeah, it's definitely like a group conversation more than like a class.
Exactly.
It was actually really cool. Like I just thinking about this now, it was really cool to do that day when we were like leading a group, because it sort of felt like we all of a sudden were Ben and Nico. Like we were watching kids be excited about like doing like about it, like acknowledging mental health and then doing art projects. And it was just like, it was amazing because we were making these little OK kits, which are just kits to like help you remember what makes you feel okay and makes you feel like calm and centered. And it was just amazing to see, like, even among that group of kids, they all started to like make some of the same little items. And it was just really cute to just watch people do basically what we had just been doing for the past couple of months, just feeling like really part of this like community.
You mentioned this OK kit, and I'm assuming everyone has one. Do you want to tell me one at a time what's in your OK kit?
Okay, I remember I have this like little rubber toy chicken. It's like one of those things that squeaks, except it's like a mini version. So it still has the squeak, but it's like it can fit in the kit. And I just put it in because it's goofy and like it'll make me smile if I'm feeling bad. And it's just kind of, it can be as simple as that, just something that brings you joy when you need it.
I don't have one. Can I metaphorically talk about what's in it? Sure. I love writing and photography, and they are two things that OKU has also been able to help me participate in more. So my camera and my journal would probably be in there.
So I also have not made one. I'd probably put like a sloth or some sort of animal, like a little like
Not
memento.
an ostrich?
Okay, sorry, or an ostrich, to just like, all they do is they walk around, they sleep, like, it's not, let's enjoy the little things in life, like the animals enjoy their life, we should too, to not, I feel like we always have like we always think about the bad things, but you know, like, just think about the good things.
Yeah. I remember I made an OK kit, like, when they were first, like, coming up with the idea of doing an OK kit. My mom just had me make one because she's like, oh, I just want some, like, photos of OK kits, so can you just make one? And I was like, oh, okay, sure. And I put in a bunch of random tiny things. I remember putting in this, like, little, like, sponge made of memory foam that was just, like, I would just squish it all the time. And I remember there was a day at school that was like not a good day, and I just reached in my backpack and I remember that I had it, and I just was like, oh my god, like this is exactly what this is for. But I made a new one recently, and I put some little Spotify codes in it just to remind me, like, I know I have my playlist on my phone, but it's just helpful to have like a little something to remind me of like, oh, these are the songs I like, and they make me feel good.
How do you all define OKness?
To me, like, OKness doesn't necessarily mean like feeling great or even good. It just means like feeling good with, like, not good, but feeling like okay, you know, with where you're at in life, and like knowing that it doesn't matter what other negative feelings may try to hurt you, because you're doing it, you're chugging along, and you got this.
To me, I think it's kind of a mindset of like not like Luke said, like Luke said, right? It's not like you're always 100% happy, smiling, bubbly, whatever, right? Because we know that's not possible, right? But I think for me, it's more of like a mindset of knowing that no feeling is permanent, and that, especially the negative ones, right? And not giving up on that, because it's so easy to spiral if you give up on the idea of like, you know, happiness can happen. So for me, OKness is just a state of mind and of not giving up on the good parts.
I agree. It's definitely a mindset, knowing that where you are right now and being able to feel like we can go up from here, or like even if we're in a low place, that you believe that like you can get there, you can keep going. It's definitely a mindset rather than like where you are right now.
I think over the past year, I've kind of like redefined OKness for me to just be like feeling like myself, you know, like it feeling like just like authentic in any given moment. Because I think even if I'm having a bad day or things aren't going well, just feeling like I'm approaching this in the best way that I can and being the best version of myself while doing it, like that feels really important to me. And I think that's what like making an OK kit that's focused on like, oh, this is what makes me me, and I like these are the things I like about myself. Like that feels like okay.
What do you think people your age are facing these days?
I would love to start with this one. I think so. When you talk about age specifically, right? I think like generationally, the main difference is that our generation was like the first one to grow up entrenched in the internet, right? Like we got iPad kids now. We got like this whole like phenomenon of people who just their entire lives have not existed without being connected to everywhere, everything, like everything everywhere all at once, right? And I think that while that can be good, right, you know, connecting people around the world, being able to further causes you wouldn't otherwise know about, there's also a lot of negativity there, because every single thing that happens that is bad, you hear about it immediately. You hear about it in grand detail, and that is not good for mental health, right? Like, it's good from an awareness perspective, but at the end of the day, it's not incredible to be constantly hearing about a bunch of negative world events. And our generation has also been living through a lot of negative world events. So the fact that we like grew up around that is really kind of a big deal with that. And then obviously there's all the things that every other generation has gone through, because we're all human, la di da, right? So I think that the internet being added to that mix has not been good for us, and I'm glad that programs like this exist to kind of combat that.
Definitely think we're in an age of like instant gratification where it's so fast paced. We can get this now. We can Grubhub order stuff and things will be at your door. Like it's very like go, 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 go. But sometimes we forget that we can stop and we can think about how am I feeling right now? Like we don't have to always just keep going, keep going. And I think OKU is such a great like way to remember that we need to stay grounded, like to think about ourselves too, and not just think about everyone else and trying to keep up and go and go and go. Like we can stop and too.
I think both those things are so true. OKU is definitely like a pause. Like anytime we have it, it just feels like this is like we're just gonna be here for the next hour or two. You know, it's just like a moment. But I think both things you said are so true. I think especially like just being so connected to everywhere in the world, it feels like anytime something's happening or something goes wrong, it's like we're acutely aware of it. And I think it's like, it's almost like crushing to just feel like no matter how good things are right now, I know about like all of these horrific things that are happening. It's just like I have anxiety, and that like can weigh down on me so much, where it's like, especially being young and not being able to be everywhere, not being able to like influence things as much is just hard, because it's like I know about all these things, but like what can I really do? And I think OKU just helps you just make a little impact, and if you make a little impact, that can feel just like I'm getting started.
And combined with COVID, which was a whole other fish to fry, but just it was like incredibly socially isolating for a lot of kids, and they're still dealing with like the implications of their mental health and their ability to like relate and like speak to other people like from that time. And I think it's still so important to understand that people have been affected by that. And I think that's why I love what OKU is doing in IPC.
Yeah.
How do you see your peers benefiting from this? Like, if you could say something to them, what would you say to them?
I think some of the projects that are on OKU's website can be really helpful because it doesn't mean that you have to commit to coming to all these meetings. Totally. You can just be like, hey, do you want to make an OK kit? Let me send you the link. And if you want to make it, you can make it. And if you don't want to make it, you don't have to make it. And they have the opportunity to make that OK kit. But if they don't want to, they don't have to. And it's not a big commitment. It doesn't feel heavy. It's it's a small thing that they can just do for themselves.
I think that's so true. That's one of the incredible things is that you don't really have to jump in the pool. You can just kind of dip your toes in. That's really wonderful. I think I'm trying to get my friends to join as well because I have friends who are just I can tell that some people just you can tell that they're just nervous or you can tell that they just have a lot on their mind. And I think it's just I tend to approach my friends and be like, oh, it's fun getting to go out and hang out with another group of people. But I think really what I should be focusing on is talking about it really just helps you feel more connected to yourself and the time that you need to take to really feel okay. That's one of the most incredible parts of it and probably what I should be selling more.
Yeah, I think these two worded it pretty perfectly. Just not having the commitment and the ability to do something small for yourself that will help you to feel better, but isn't this big thing that you have to do all the time. And I think, yeah.
Because we don't want to turn the mental health focused make everyone feel a little bit better campaign into something that makes you feel worse and gives you anxiety, right? When you talk about the friends who might need it or whatever, I was Anya's friend who might need it because I said, she was the one who dragged me into this, right? And I think the way she framed it was there's this mental health focused art thing, and that sounded so fun. And so now I'm doing an interview about it, so hey, it's really fun. I think it's just finding the right people who would enjoy it.
So we'll lighten up a little bit. What are your favorite OKU projects?
I think I'm OK Kit all the way. I loved making it, and since it just has a lot of room for creative interpretation, it's literally just whatever feels the best for you. You decorate it what feels the best for you, make it feels, it's just it was a really nice project to do, and everyone who approaches it in a completely different way. Every person decorates theirs differently or puts different items in, and that's it's almost as interesting to look at other people's OK Kits because it tells you a lot about them.
Kind of building off of that, I really like it's called the Nice Dice, and basically you get a die, and then on a piece of paper you write the numbers 1 to 6, and for each number, you can write down something that will bring you joy, listening to music, or even a silly thing doing a little dance. And I kind of like that one because it's super customizable, and you can do it. You can kind of what Ray was saying about the OK Kit. You can customize it to make it yours and make it your personal thing, which I think is really good and makes it all the more helpful.
Kind of biased, kind of also not answering the question. But for my OK Challenge project, I created a project where you make your own affirmation monster, and within it, you'll fold paper or you can use duct tape or whatever, and you write these affirmations. And something that I'm really hoping to do this upcoming year is to bring that to schools, where it can be a little, maybe a little free library situation where they every school can have a little affirmation monster, and kids can make their little affirmations and put them in there for other people, and other people can take it out. But we'll see. I'm super excited. I really hope I get to do that. Or they can just
keep taping affirmations to the monster until it engulfs the entire school.
Oh, okay, great. No more stuff.
Oh my god, we gotta make that happen, first of all.
I really want to make it happen.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, also not answering the question, I'm so sorry. Because, so for the IPC's end of year project, I guess, what we did was we designed a bunch of characters who combined OKness and being characters. And one of, I think I think it was Ben turned them into like little cry cut stickers. Yeah.
Oh, the soup, like the soup
the soup
cafe?
chicken. That's what.
Oh my god, I still have my crab.
Oh my
I have my crab in my drawer.
Yeah.
Anyone get any stickers? Because I
did.
Yeah.
You did. No, I said I have the crab. Like I have a
Oh.
little crab sticker. He was
I
like
want
a
some.
mustached crab.
Nice. All crabs should have mustaches. But yeah, so I had this like little light blue soup chicken, and it was like OK soup or something like that, and the eyeballs are like an O and a K. But yeah, that's on my laptop. Like that's, I thought that was a really fun way to communicate the message.
I need to get Ben to mail me one.
Oh yeah.
So, how often do you four find yourselves either engaged in Inner Peace Corps or OKU projects?
Whenever Kathleen emails me.
I feel like this past year it's been more around once a month,
Yeah.
but I think this coming year they might be doing it more often. So, yeah.
I also like to get involved with not just IPC, but like sometimes I go to these little tabling events or with that are representing both OKU and the IPC, and those are kind of often, maybe like once a month, so maybe twice a month meetings for me, and combining that.
Yeah, and we also have a Discord, so we're always staying in touch. We're always chatting, sharing the fun things we've been creating. So it's an ongoing thing. We don't just show up once a month. And say hi and say bye.
So how often do you all feel that you need a reminder that you're okay?
What a fun personal question. I think that depends on the person, right? Ray said that they have anxiety. I have PTSD, so that one's not fun, and that one needs a lot of reminders, right? But also I think in general, just like the general stress of like existing in this world as a human being with like capability to comprehend, right? Because as I said, like the whole internet thing, right? Being connected to everything all the time, it's pretty easy to forget that okayness, right? So putting in the effort to keep up that mindset and, going to IPC meetings is really helpful.
I think, I was just gonna say, I think it's like I feel like needing to be reminded that you feel okay is like, I feel like not necessarily the goal. I feel like it's like just feeling an okayness just perpetually is kind of the goal. Like I feel like having little okays every day rather than having like one moment where you're like, I need to feel all right now. Like this is like too much. I feel like that's what, I don't know, I try to avoid. Like I try to just have like everyday check-ins where I'm like, I'm good. Like things are good right now. And if they're not, I'm still gonna be okay afterwards, you know? This morning I woke up to a amazing text from my cousin where she was just saying, like cause she lives pretty far away, and she was just saying like, I just saw something and thought of you, and that just felt like just a little like okay for me. Like I just like knowing I'm loved even that far away is amazing.
Yeah, there's definitely sometimes where it's more stressful and times where it's less. But I was gonna say what Ray said, like I feel like every day, like you always need it, like every moment, like when you always need to tell yourself that okay. It's like a constant, like okayness, not a once a month. I need to be okay.
Yeah, being self-aware is helpful.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. Like, I don't really do like check-ins, but I just aim to feel like okay as much as I can, and even if I don't, then I'm still okay because I know that it will get better.
How do you all think art helps someone find their okayness? Like, how would you describe that process?
Go ahead, do it.
I think something that, like, I've realized that I don't really, like, art isn't really how I, like, express drawing is not really how I express myself. I found that, like, I express myself a lot easier with writing. Like, I love drawing and I draw all the time, but it's, like, I've never really been able to, just express feelings through it, whereas writing, it's so easy to, like, just kind of, like, bleed into the paper, I guess. It's just, like, easy to kind of, like, express myself through words, and I find a lot of times, like when I have like a lot of thoughts in my brain, just writing it down as like a poem or as just like a short story or stuff like that is just so helpful because it feels like now it's there, now it's on the paper, and it's like it can rest in my head because I've like made sense of it. Which, I don't know, I think writing's art, so that's how I...
Yeah, I'm gonna go next just because I'm also a writer to cope and for fun and for other reasons. But yeah, I think that
Eye chart.
Oh god, pyramid. Yeah, I think that writing as a form of just like bleeding, like Ray said, is really helpful. Especially when you have a lot in your head, like if it's like not just one thing that's setting you off, right? Like if I have a lot going on, then I can like list it all out and then like try to turn it into a poem or try to work it into somebody, like turn it into a fictional thing, you know? Like trying to, it's just a good distraction, you know? But it also connects so well to the real world. And there's like, what I like about writing in particular is that there are no rules, right? Same with most art, but like you can just do whatever you want with it, go wherever you want, mold the words however serves you, right? And so I love writing for its ability to kind of be whatever you need it to be.
For me, I feel like sometimes words, there's some feelings that I have where it's hard to express in words, but with art, it's not it can be as abstract as you want it to be, and it doesn't necessarily have to be within, like, it doesn't have to be a word. It can be a feeling, and you're able to express feelings with art. And for me, it's just a way to be able to let it all out, to stop bottling it up and being able to express what I'm feeling, not necessarily in words, but just in, like, maybe it's a collage, maybe it's like drawing, but it's just a way to be able to express the things that are in your head in a way that not necessarily other things could.
I think, like, just to add on to that really quickly, something that I think that I've envied in, like, art to convey, like, emotions and feelings is that it's kind of, like, almost encrypted sometimes, where it's, like, you don't really have to be, I mean, obviously you can still do that with writing, but I feel like with art it's a lot easier to be, like, put feelings into an art piece and it still just looks like an art piece, whereas sometimes writing can just be like, oh, whoa, you're going through it. And art's like, well, that's a cat, so I don't know how you're thinking, like, I don't know how you're feeling.
And sometimes I feel like you don't necessarily have it all figured out and you don't know what you're feeling. And art, you can interpret art in so many different ways. So if as an artist, like, you are confused, you don't know what you are feeling, then that can, like, people can see that when you put that in art, when you draw, they can be like, I can feel what you were feeling when you were drawing that.
Yeah, and, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No.
You haven't spoken yet, go ahead.
Kind of like how I feel about art is just like, you can just push your feelings onto whatever media or thing you're making art with, whether it be like music or writing or art or painting or literally anything. And it can take the form of anything as your feelings. And like Ray was saying, other people can look at it and like they'll have a completely different meaning than you have with it. And like the different relationships and bonds that people have with art is like just the formation of those, I think, is really something. And I love that.
Yeah, I was gonna build off of what they were saying about like sharing it with other people, right? And like what Anya was saying about how sometimes you're confused about what you're feeling, you don't know what you're dealing with. There's been so many times where like I know there's a mess up here. I don't know what the mess is though. I don't know what to like call it, what to do with it. So I just start writing, and like it's not necessarily like writing to show anybody, you know, it's kind of just for me, and it's for me to figure out, a path, and like,
beloved notes document.
Oh yeah, it's 100%. But yeah, it's just like, I think art, when it's not in a frame is also really helpful, right? Art just to have something to sit down and do, or to be able to work through yourself too. Do people who see this know how to join IPC or recommend it at all?
Probably don't.
Yeah,
literally, I just showed up at a thing and then I had a T-shirt.
There's a form on the
OKU.org, OKYOU.org. Go to like Inner Peace Corps. I think there's like something up top that you can click on, and accepting submissions, I think. So if you're interested in what we've been talking about and you'd love to do it with
It's so
teenagers
good.
with like minds, then have at it.
And we're so cool too.
Yeah.
Like,
Come
join
meet
up
us.
for us.
Thank you for listening. The next Inner Peace Corps session starts on October 6th. For more information on how you or a high school student in your life can join, visit the For Youth page at OKU.org.